Hey everybody, it's Andrew back again with another video, and today I have the full review of the MSI Summit E13 Flip Evo here for 2023. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but a really sleek looking, modern looking 2-in-1 convertible, very reminiscent, I think, of the HP Spectre X360, one of my favorite 2-in-1 convertibles. But this brings a lot to the table in its own right. Here you can see it's got that beautiful ink black color finish on it. It also comes in pure white. It's also got a 13th gen Intel processor, the Core i7 1360p. We're going to get a look at the performance later on. It's also got a 70 watt hour battery, and I got to give you a little spoiler here. Battery life is really good. We'll get into the numbers later on as well. But is this the right 2-in-1 convertible for you? Well, we're going to find out in this review. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the MSI Summit E13 Flip Evo, all new for 2023. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by MSI. I'm not being sponsored by MSI. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. MSI is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit was provided by MSI, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, as far as pricing is concerned, the MSI Summit E13 Flip Evo here for 2023 comes in at $1699.99 over at Best Buy, but Costco has it for $1299.99. For those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy it. Now, I'm not affiliated with Costco, just so you know, but I just want to make sure you get the best price possible here so far for 2023. So without further ado, let's get this out of the box. Pretty nice packaging so far. Here you can see it says MSI Summit Series. Let's take this out, and again, it has some of the MSI branding right there. You can see that there. And they also give you some documentation, it looks like. So we got the quick guide, the quick start guide right there. And you've got a limited warranty right there. And you got a help information right there. So if you run into any trouble, you can just call that helpline. Looks good so far. Let's check out the accessories in the box. Let's get it all out here. So pretty compact charger right here. I believe this is going to be a 65 watt, I would imagine. And it's going to be Type C. So you'll see the Type C connection right there if it ever comes into focus. Doesn't want to come into focus. There it comes into focus. Okay. And you can see the power cord right there. And we get the pen. Okay. So the pen is here. This is the MSI pen. Got an eraser top, clickable, and feels good. So far, pretty good. And of course, a USB-C cable that will charge your pen. So it's a rechargeable pen. No need to worry about getting any batteries or anything like that. So that's always appreciated. Battery level, remote control, MPP 2.0 technology. Okay. Oh boy, this thing is pretty gorgeous. This is the ink black. It has these gold accents right there. Very nice. Does have a little bit sharp edges, but looking pretty sleek. Now, as far as the weight with the pen and the power charger, you're looking at 1.566 kilograms or 3.72 pounds. A nice, tidy package to take with you on the road. And when it comes to the build, we're looking at a really durable design with a military standard 810G rating, meant that this underwent a series of tests to make sure that this can take a licking and keep on ticking. Nice. Now, one thing I did notice so far is the fact that the bottom really does collect a lot of fingerprints. Not so much on the top cover, but on that bottom, you'll notice it can get pretty dirty pretty fast. But of course, you could wipe it down. The good news is you don't really look at the bottom of the laptop all that much, but just carry a cleaning cloth just in case. Let's open it up with one finger. Let's see if we can. We can. Very nice. Wow. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Holy smokes, people. This thing is beautiful. Loving it. Feels like it has pretty good key travel. Very pretty laptop, no doubt about it. Wow. And it is pretty thin, although look at this. You could, oh, it is a convertible, so that's supposed to do that. Forgot about that. It is a convertible. The build is freaking fantastic here. Here you can see some MSI branding right there. Now, I don't know about fingerprints, but so far, not too bad. But again, with black, you never know. Okay, let's check out the port selection. We're going to start off on the left side where you get a USB-A port, and then you get two USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports that are full function, supporting data, charge, and display out. Moving over to the right side is a kill switch for the webcam, a micro SD card reader, an HDMI 2.1 port, which of course will allow you to connect to a monitor 4K 60 Hz, which we always like, and then a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack to round out the ports on this laptop. And I would say all in all, a nice port selection. Now, to get inside this laptop, it's actually pretty easy. What you need to do is remove the two visible Phillips head screws and then remove the two rubber feet on the bottom. And then there are two more Phillips head screws. Remove that and then pop off the bottom plate with a guitar pick or a pry tool. And that's it. Pretty easy overall. Now, once inside, you'll notice the two fans for cooling. We'll get into the thermals, fan noise, and everything else later on in this review. And you'll notice that 70 watt-hour battery. We'll talk about battery life and charging times later on as well. Now, as far as what's user upgradable, that PCIe NVMe SSD is definitely user upgradable. So if you need more storage down the road, you definitely have that option. Now, as far as the reads and writes, excellent PCIe Gen 4 speeds that we'd like to see here in 2023. Nice. Now, as far as the RAM is concerned, my review unit has 32 gigabytes of LP DDR5 RAM running at 4800 megahertz, and it is running in dual channel mode. Now, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, so you cannot, as the user, upgrade it later on if you wanted to. So that's just something to keep in mind. And you're looking at killer Wi-Fi 6E along with Bluetooth 5.3. Now, this combo card is also soldered into the motherboard, so not upgradable either, but working well as far as the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, no issues on either front. And for those wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger. Not something you normally do with a 2-in-1 convertible. Hinges are interesting. Move it back here, it lifts up a little bit, but then it has to go to the last position. So you can leave it like that, or it goes down, right? And then, of course, it has to be able to do this, right? Since it is a convertible, and you definitely have to be able to do that. It's sort of like having an ergo lift hinge, which gives it a little bit more airflow, but it also has the ability to do that. So it has to be able to move. It can't be as tight as if it was just 360 and that's it. As a normal convertible, this sort of lives in both worlds. So far, I mean, I don't see too much screen wobble, right? So if I'm typing, it's actually pretty sturdy, right? So it's looking actually pretty good. And when it comes to the keyboard, well, another great implementation here. I'm really happy with the tactility, the key travel. I found it was very comfortable for typing, for long documents, extended emails, etc. It was very good in terms of that tactility. Now, as far as the multi-stage backlight, excellent here. It's a really strong backlight, easy to see the contrast with these dark keys. So it allows you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. I would say the overall takeaway from this is the keyboard is excellent on this 2-in-1 convertible. And it has a precision touchpad that I thought was very responsive when it comes to scrolling, when it comes to doing gestures. It all worked well. Now, it's not a haptic touchpad. It's a diving board style touchpad, but it worked well nonetheless. It really has no issues. Very good and proportionally sized to this unit. So working very good. Okay, let's talk about the performance. And this is running the Intel Core i7 1360p, a 28-watt CPU with 12 cores, 8 efficient cores, and 4 performance cores. And as you can see from these benchmarks, when you compare it to the one I looked at late 2021, you can definitely see a nice improvement in both single and multi-core performance, although not the best in terms of 2023 in terms of this performance, although definitely good for a thin and light convertible laptop as we have here. Now, one thing it did have was a very good single core score. When I ran the Cinebench R23, it got 1,864 on that single core score. So that's really good. And it's a really heavy sustained workload test. So that accounts for any throttling and so forth. And as you can see, decent multi-core score as well. So overall, decent performance here from this convertible. And if you're looking for this to be your main gaming laptop, well, I would look elsewhere. This is really not a gaming laptop per se. It's not really designed to do that. And these integrated Iris Xe graphics just can't really bring a lot to the table in terms of gangbuster performance. You're not going to be playing AAA titles on their highest settings. It's just not in the cards. But if you lower some of the settings, you can get somewhat playable frame rates on some of the more popular titles, as you see here. But you can always add an external GPU thanks to the 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports that this has. But that of course will add to the overall cost of the unit. So really, at the end of the day, you can play the occasional game here and there, again, if you lower the settings, but really not a gaming laptop per se. I think you pretty much know that. And when I ran the Temps stress test to see if this will power throttle under heavy load, it got a failing score of 90.6%, indicating that this will throttle under heavy load, not too unexpected in such a thin and light chassis. Now, when it comes to the surface temperatures under heavy load, I noticed a hot spot above the keyboard below the display, and on the underside, you'll notice a hot spot there. So definitely will get a little bit warm, never overly hot, never too hot to the touch, but something to be aware of when you're using this laptop. It does heat up. And you definitely will notice the fan noise getting around 50 decibels. So that's definitely something to be aware of here with this fan noise. You'll definitely notice it under heavy load, but when on the balance or the quiet mode, I didn't really detect it all that much. But again, if you're running this under heavy load, expect to notice that fan noise. And as I mentioned earlier, this has a 70 watt-hour battery. That's the same as the predecessor I looked at late 2021. This did 12 hours and 12 minutes on the PC Mark X Modern Office battery test, whereas its predecessor did 11 hours and 12 minutes. So I'm seeing exactly an hour more in terms of the battery life, and actually 12 hours and 12 minutes on this PC Mark X Modern Office test is a really good indicator here, showing good battery life here. So definitely a strong suit of this convertible. And it did 11 hours and 24 minutes on the PC Mark X video playback test, another improvement over its predecessor, which did just a little bit over 10 hours on the same test. Now, one thing to be aware of, I ran the test with 120 Hz enabled. That means if you lower it down to 60 Hz, expect better battery life, even a little bit more than what we're getting here. So battery life overall is excellent on this convertible. And if you do need to plug in, the supplied 65-watt USB-C power charger takes about 75 minutes to give you a full charge. Pretty fast. Okay, let's talk about the display, and what we're looking at here is a 13.4-inch IPS display with a Full HD Plus resolution. That's 1920 by 1200, and yes, that is a 16:10 aspect ratio, what they're calling the golden aspect ratio, and I actually agree. I think it is the right aspect ratio for this type of device. With a 16:10 aspect ratio, you'll see more on the display. You'll do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. Now, it also has a nice refresh rate here, up to 120 Hertz, but of course you could bump it down to 60 Hertz to save on the battery life. But of course, at 120 Hertz, you're really looking at that smooth experience, the really fluid experience that you get with a high refresh rate. So when you're doing some light gaming or whatever you might be doing, or just navigating through the OS, having that smooth, fluid experience definitely enhances the user experience. And to me, having that higher refresh rate is a must-have here in 2023. You're looking at really deep blacks, good white point, excellent contrast, and it has good coverage of the color gamut. Not stellar, but good nonetheless. So if you do color grading, Lightroom, Photoshop, video editing, it's a decent choice. Not the best I've seen out there, but good nonetheless. Now, as far as the color accuracy, a 1.75 Delta E score, pretty good. That means anything below 2 is considered color accurate. This will not disappoint. And of course, this is a really nice multi-touch display, so very responsive so far to navigate the OS with your finger or with the MSI pen. Now, the MSI pen is based on the Microsoft Pen Protocol 2.0 or MPP 2.0. The pressure sensitivity is good. Taking notes, sketching out artwork, diagrams, whatever you needed to do, it worked well. So having that pen certainly adds to the experience of this convertible laptop. There's no doubt about it. And as far as brightness is concerned, you won't be disappointed. I measured a really nice 522 nits, meaning this is going to be good in both indoor and outdoor scenario. Now, it is a glossy display, but I didn't find it overly reflective. I didn't find it distracting when it comes to the glare and reflections. Of course, it all depends on your lighting condition, but overall, I think it's actually a pretty nice, bright display that is really great for consuming media. Watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube has been great so far. Now, this being a 2-in-1 convertible means you can put it into the different modes. You've got the tent mode, which is great for consuming media, watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube. Same could be said of the stand or presentation mode. And of course, you could always put it into the tablet mode, great for use with the MSI pen. Now, I'd use it on a desk or a table because it can get quite heavy after a long period of time. Now, for those that are wondering, the pen does stick magnetically to the side. It's a pretty nice secure connection, so they do give you a place to store the pen, which is always welcome, that's for sure. So this is the camera on the MSI
Summit E13 Flip Evo here for 2023. It's a 1080p camera running at 30 frames per second. It's an IR camera. That means you can log in with face recognition with Windows Hello. And for those that want to use a fingerprint scanner, there is one located on the keyboard below the keyboard deck, obviously on the right-hand side. What do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality of the Array mics? As far as the sound is concerned, let me know in that comment section below. Is it good for your Zoom calls, work from home, hybrid work needs, whatever it may be? How does this fare? Let me know in that comment section below.
Now, when it comes to the audio, you're looking at downward-facing speakers. They're 2 watts each for a total of 4 watts, and I compared it to the MacBook Pro 14 with the M1 Pro that I have here, which I think is the best in class, and I did a sound comparison in my live unboxing. Of course, I will leave a link to the replay in the description below. But the overall takeaway is this is not going to be as good as the MacBook Pro, but of course, there is no Windows equivalent to compare with the MacBook Pro other than the Lenovo Yoga 9i, which comes close, but not quite as good as the MacBook Pro. But nonetheless, I think the overall sound was good on this. It's just not going to compete with the MacBook Pro. Now, here's a little snippet to give you an idea of the difference in sound. It's not even close. Okay, folks, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the MSI Summit E13 Flip Evo here for 2023? A lot of improvements over its predecessor. We're seeing better single multi-core performance thanks to this 13th Gen P-Series processor, the Core i7-1360P. It has 12 cores, 8 efficient, of course, and of course, 4 performance cores, and we're seeing the benefits of that in the numbers. We're seeing better battery life, over 12 hours on the PC Mark 10 Modern Office battery test, which I like to see. A nice full HD webcam with a kill switch, so if you want more security and privacy, that's great. And the quality of the webcam was very good. I thought the Array mics did a good job in terms of noise cancellation, and I think it's going to be great for your Zoom calls, work from home needs, and hybrid work needs as well. Really good build quality. I like the look of this black color on this unit. Of course, you could always get it in the pure white. This ink black is really looking very sleek and modern. I like the pen support. It's using Microsoft Pen Protocol 2.0, so if you want to jot down some notes, sketch out diagrams, artwork, this certainly can do it. I like the build quality, as I said, with its military standard A10G rating, so it's definitely going to take a licking and keep on ticking. Really nice keyboard, a really great backlight on it, which is easy to see the contrast between the keys in a dark room or the dimly lit environment, say on an airplane or whatever you might be in. It definitely will help you get work done, so that's been pretty good. I also like the precision touchpad. It worked well. The negatives, of course, is it can get a little bit expensive, although Costco does have it for $12.99. I'm not affiliated with Costco, but I will leave a link anyway to make sure you get the best value. Certainly, you always come first. And then, of course, there is the fact that it does throttle down under heavy load, not too unexpected in a thin and light chassis as we have here. So expect that. You don't expect to play AAA titles on their high settings. Remember, this only has the Iris Xe graphics, but there really are no deal breakers here as far as I'm concerned. It's great to see them do really nice things here in a enterprise or even a consumer environment. It's very close in terms of looks, as I think, of course, to the Spectre line from HP. So definitely brings a lot to the table, and I have no hesitation recommending the MSI Summit E13 Flip Evo here for 2023. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.